Welcome to JMR Talks. Today we will discuss about managing people in hybrid environment. Before COVID, when we were operating in an offline environment, the things were different. Now, thanks to the COVID, the companies had to resort to what I call remote working, and now, once the what I call the COVID is almost receding, people are talking about what I call hybrid environment because we have seen the employees resisting about coming back to what I call office for online work, offline working. Okay, so probably we'll end up in what I call in a hybrid environment as such, wherein people are required to what I call work offline as well as what I call online. Now, managing in is a what I call hybrid environment. Why this is an issue? Because COVID had what I call huge impact on the what I call working world as such. Now, Sandra Sharp and Kirsten Breda of McKinsey, they did some what I call research and all that, and they found there's a lot of change in the what I call expectations of the people. Maybe people who are not paying that much attention to work-life balance or work-life integration, now more focused on that. They don't they would like to avoid what I call burnout, etc. They're more concerned about their career growth, etc., etc. Now the problem in the what I call current environment, especially during the what I call online, is that leaders had limited visibility into the workload and the what I call process, and that's more or less the same that even if you are in a what I call hybrid, because people are working offline as well as what I call online. So Sandra and what I call Kirsten, they found while working with some of the successful companies, the companies who could what I call went through the tough times and did what I call extremely well. They found four management what I call shifts that help the what I call companies in general and the leaders in particular in steering their organization through the rough times. Number one, managing performance through outcomes. So it's time to what I call focus on what I call task rather than what I call how many hours, how they what I call go about in executing the work and all that. So when you are focusing on what I call outcomes, the best thing would be what I call set the expectations clearly, communicate with them without any iota of doubt, check with them periodically, offer required support, and most importantly, ensure that workloads are what I call manageable. Now that's most important if you wish to what I call avoid burnout and have sustainable performance from our employees. Second, building trust and what I call togetherness. For me, trust is like a what I call Kohinoor diamond. They need to what I call create competency trust, contractual trust, and communication trust. When I say communication, that means people could take your word at what I call face value. Competency trust, that means you not only you have grown yourself, but now you are growing others. The contractual trust, what are the promises what I call you made, you would call keep them. So in other words, the managers what I call need to become what I call role models. They are the one to whom the what I call employees report. While the leaders what I call set the direction, it is a manager what I call who executes the work. So now a moot question arises as to when we look at what I call when employees look at the managers, are they reliable, trustworthy, acceptance? Do they what I call accept differences of opinion and all that? They encourage what I call psychological safety, openness. Are they open to what I call suggestions, or do they want simply their decisions to be what I call implemented? And last but not the least, what I call authentic. That means they are committed and they are loyal to the what I call the vision of the organization. Third, facilitating and engaging teams. When we are working in a what I call hybrid environment, a combination of what I call online as well as offline, engagement of the what I call people is very very important. People should not feel that they are lonely, they are working in what I call silos and all that. So for this purpose, managers could use what I call chart, conducting polls, etc. Creating a feeling among the what I call employees that they are not alone. Somebody is there what I call to take care of them. The last one is what I call encouraging them what I call to solve the problems. So that means let's build what I call a team spirit. It's not that as a manager you have all the answers to the what I call problems. So the best thing would be what I call create an environment where people could come up with alternative what I call solutions, and thereby team as a whole under your leadership ends up with what I call the best solution. John Rampton, the co-founder and the CEO of Calendar, offers what I call the following suggestions for managing people effectively in a hybrid environment. Number one, set clear expectations. Now, when the expectations are clear, the employee will have what I call freedom to what I call organize his work the way he likes. Now, this reminds me of three great what I call motivational factors mentioned by Daniel Pink in his book what I call The Drive. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy is what I call giving freedom to operate in all that. Mastery, allowing somebody to what I call to become expert. The purpose, that means making him understand that how the growth of the organization what I call contributes to the growth of what I call the individual, and it's challenging. Second, provide proper tools and support. Now, some of the managers might be under the impression that they need not provide what I call the same tool or the extent same kind of support during online, while as if what I call they were working in an offline as such. No, whether they are working, even if they are working in the what I call online, let us provide the same proper tools and support to the employees to complete the work as such. Use meetings strategically. Let's not hold the meeting just for the what I call heck of it, unless until people coming together is going to what I call serve the purpose. Maybe if you don't have anything what I call important, maybe one-on-one meetings would be helpful. Let them not what I call feel that you just called a meeting to what I call to monitor or to check or some kind of that. Next, create inclusive employee experience. This is very, very, very important. When we are operating in what I call hybrid environment, it's very important to create such kind of feeling, because as per what I call SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management survey, 42% of the what I call managers, they are forgetting their what I call remote workers, and 67% of them feel that these remote workers are what I call expendable. Now, this is not a what I call encouraging trend as such. Let's not what I call create such kind of feeling that you're not part of the what I call big picture. Now, when we are talking about managers, I am reminded of the what I call Gallup findings. Gallup, based on the what I call detailed survey, when they were trying to find out what makes a great manager or what makes a what I call great workplace, they found that the outstanding performance of the organization depends on outstanding performance of the people, presuming that all other factors, all other resources are either available, accessible, or what called affordable. And this outstanding performance of the organization in turn depends on how strong and vibrant work environment, in creating which the managers what I call play a very important role. Though what I call Google try to what I call experiment saying that managers are not required, it's a necessary evil, some kind of that, as a part of Project Oxygen in 2002, but subsequently they found 10 what I call features of what I call great managers as such. In other words, they accepted that managers are what are required. Otherwise, employees will be left, without any direction, without any guidance. So, given this what I call important role of managers in getting the things done, in getting outstanding work, what is that what I call they need to do? Number one, provide productive and what I call challenging work. The standard, what I call motivational, parameters, are like, giving a fair wage, what I call, treating them all what I call fair, okay, competitive salary and all that, they may not, work, what I call in today's environment. And let's remember one thing. Let's not, adopt a straight jacket approach. The way we can motivate, somebody will not be what I call, help what I call to motivate others as such. It has been found that the work design has strong impact on the performance. Let us, what I call design the work culture. So the work design, the work environment, work atmosphere in such a way that it offers variety, challenge, and what I call autonomy. Probably these are what I call things which are very close to what I call millennials. Second, setting effective goals. Let the goals be what I call smart, simple, measurable, attainable, realistic, and what I call time bound. Communication of goals without any iota of doubt is very, 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 very important. And not only that, once you what you call communicate, the goals or the tasks or the objectives, you should also ensure that the personal goals, are what you call in conformity with what you call organizational goals. In other words, you are ensuring consistency between the personal and the organizational goals. Let the employee feel that once the organization grows, automatically he also what you call grows. Third, understanding individual differences in motivation. Like five fingers in a hand, people are what are not alike. What motivates one may not motivate what other. So it's very, very, very important, for the managers to understand the individual needs. In other words, he should continue to what look at what his people to get those what key insights, so that accordingly he could inspire them, so that they get what motivated. Next, providing rewards and recognition. We all know, as a human being, we crave for recognition. So when we are providing what rewards and recognition, it is seen that most of the managers try to ensure that they are fair. When we say fair rewards and fair recognition, we don't mean that you are giving the same reward package for everyone. So what do you mean by trying to be fair in recognizing and rewarding the people? Fair means the reward package is what clear to the people. They understand. They understand the what parameters of the performance, which on fulfilling they are eligible for recognition and what reward. So in conclusion, we can say that in a hybrid environment, which is fast emerging, there's a new way of working and there's a new way of setup. There's a need of the hour. But a question that arises is are the managers prepared? So it is the responsibility of the HR and the leadership guidance to prepare the managers accordingly. There is a need to balance flexibility and autonomy. Let the people not have a feeling that they are being continuously monitored. When you are flexible and offering autonomy, also ensure that requisite support is extended to the people for completing their works. When we look at successful organization, what do we find? They create a flexible culture. A flexible culture where they ensure outcome-oriented performance. They don't believe in micromanagement, like what great managers do, unlike typical managers who don't mind specifying the steps to get the thing done. They they allot the job and give enough freedom. That outcome-oriented process. We are not bothered about how many number of works he does, as long as the outcome is important. Next, trust and togetherness. As we have discussed, trust is like a Kohinoor diamond. So we need to create a trust among the team members, and then work for togetherness. Together, team together, everyone achieves more. Let us work towards team engagement and psychological safety. So once you create psychological safety, people are no more scared or fearful that if they experiment and something goes wrong, they'll be reprimanded or punished after that. When we look at high performing teams, it boils down to only one thing. What is that? How you motivate the team members. So managers need to pay attention to a couple of things we discussed here, and to ensure that they create an environment, a healthy environment, which will ensure mental and emotional well-being of the people. You are providing psychological safety, providing them required tools, techniques apart from the training, ensuring support, ensuring clarity in communication of goals and all that, and creating a feeling that you are there always to help them. When they do that, all these things, and succeed in creating a work environment which will take care of their mental and emotional well-being, I'm not only sure, nay confident that they give their best, and thereby, giving outstanding contribution to the what call outstanding performance of the organization. Thank you.